Tampa, look at me. The market says Yankees. The buzz says Yankees. The highlight reels sing Yankees. But the house whispers something else. This is a leverage game, not a romance. We don't marry power numbers. We marry probability. Rays, home, edge on the mound, cleaner run prevention. That's how you survive August. Cam Schlittler first. Rookie flash, rookie traffic. 1 win, 2 losses, 3.94 ERA, but the tell is 1.52 whip across 29 and 2/3. Too many base runners too often. 30 strikeouts say the stuff is real. 14 walks say the command is not yet domesticated. Against a team that manufactures pressure through contact quality and base path aggression, that whip is a loaded die. If he lives in the zone, barrels find him. If he nibbles, free passes become doubles in disguise. The kid can grow into this league. Tonight, the room is tight. The margin is thinner than his heartbeat. Drew Rasmussen next. 10-5. 2.60 ERA. 0.98 whip across a real workload. 117 and 2/3. This is scarcity. Clean frames, early count strikes, exit velocities that don't scare you. Tampa's defensive spine plays with him, not against him. He doesn't need heroics. He needs sequences. First pitch edges, chase management, soft contact to the right side with men on. That's how you disarm the Bronx blast radius without getting into a shootout you can't afford. Game state. The Yankees bring top-tier power and a recent heater, but form is not a shield against a pitcher who erases traffic. Tampa's run prevention profile, ERA, whip, and a steadier glove, compresses variance. Add home familiarity and bullpen choreography that lands Rasmussen into leverage with fresh eyes, and the calculus tilts. New York can still win by going orbital early. The more likely shape is a lower-scoring grind where one mistake defines the ledger. In a grind, the side with fewer free bases usually cashes. And today's AI pick is Rays money line, 120. Will we cash or will we burn? Krista, step into the light for Game 2.
Chicago, hear the hum of the crowd. This isn't just another divisional tilt. This is the Central's fracture line, Milwaukee at the top of the mountain, Chicago clinging close enough to smell the summit. The books hung this line razor thin for a reason. Both teams score, both teams defend, both teams pitch. But probability doesn't care about sentiment. It cares about patterns. And the Brewers' pattern is dominance. First, Jacob Misiorowski, a prospect turned weapon. 4 wins, 1 loss, ERA just under 4. 34 innings, 50 strikeouts, 17 walks. A 1.12 whip says he doesn't drown in base runners. Opponents can hit him when he misses, but he misses less than most. His fastball explodes, his slider carves air into shards. Yes, his road ERA looks ugly, over 7 across limited starts. That is variance, not destiny. What matters is sequencing. Fewer hits allowed than innings pitched, strikeouts above elite pace, a frame that can flip a lineup over twice before handing the baton to one of the most efficient bullpens in baseball. Colin Rea for Chicago. Veteran journeyman steadied into a 9-win season. ERA at 4 flat, whip at 1.28. 121 innings is a real workload, but 90 strikeouts to 33 walks tells you he pitches to contact more than dominance. And contact against Milwaukee can be dangerous. This Brewers lineup averages over 5 runs a game, ranks 2nd in batting average, 2nd in OBP, and applies pressure on the base paths with one of the highest stolen base counts in the league. Rea has allowed 19 home runs already. Against a lineup built to grind pitchers down, that's a risk factor that cannot be hedged away. Game state. Milwaukee is scorching. 15 wins in their last 16, 8-2 in their last 10. League best record. Chicago, tough and talented, but only 5-5 in the same span. The Cubs can claw runs through power and depth, but their pitching staff yields more traffic than Milwaukee's, and their defense, while clean, is not enough to erase constant base pressure. In a tight series, momentum compounds. One team rides a historic streak, the other plays catch-up. And today's AI pick is Brewers moneyline 106. Will we cash or will we burn? Anna, the board is yours for Game 3.
Denver sits in rare air. The books hang a total north of 11. The Rockies try to sell confidence on a 6-4 stretch, and Coors Field whispers chaos. But chaos bends when the arms are this uneven. The Dodgers bring Shohei Ohtani to the mound. Colorado answers with Tanner Gordon. That isn't symmetry, that's exposure. Start with Ohtani. Officially winless in his short campaign, but the surface numbers hide dominance. 3.47 ERA, 32 strikeouts against just 5 walks in 23 innings. A whip of 1.11 says his traffic is light. He's been on a pitch count, 5 innings max, but within those frames, he silences lineups. The last time he saw Colorado, he held them to 1 run in 7 innings. This is not the Ohtani of headlines. This is the Ohtani who shapes probability with each swing and miss. His arsenal forces hitters to choose between timing that isn't there and velocity they can't touch. Tanner Gordon is the other side of the coin. 3-5 record, ERA nearly 8, whip ballooned to 1.80 in 38 innings. 24 strikeouts cannot cover the bleeding. 9 walks, 5 home runs allowed, and far too many base runners set the stage for collapse. At Coors, there is no forgiveness for elevated whips and no shield from the Dodgers' power. Los Angeles ranks second in the league in home runs, second in slugging, and top tier in run production. Gordon's profile is precisely the profile that gets detonated by lineups like this. Game flow. The Dodgers average just over 5 runs a game and come in tied for the division lead. They have rebounded from inconsistency with sweeps that remind you why they carry championship equity. Colorado, meanwhile, has the league's worst staff ERA at 5.96, worst whip at 1.59, worst batting average against at 2.99. Their defense does not erase mistakes. It compounds them. A recent walk-off win against these Dodgers feels loud, but variance always does. The deeper shape is clear. Los Angeles rolls with consistent pressure, and Colorado lacks the prevention tools to hold the dam. And today's AI pick is Dodgers, 1.5 run line. Will we cash or will we burn? Sapira. The table is yours for Game 4.
Anaheim waits under the lights, where 2 flawed rotations cross paths, and the scoreboard whispers opportunity. This is not Yankees-Rays chess, nor Dodgers-Rockies chaos. This is Reds versus Angels, and the line rests on which starter bends first. Nick Martinez against Yusei Kikuchi. Neither man is invincible. Both have paths to ruin. Martinez first. 10 wins, 9 losses, ERA 4.73. In nearly 140 innings, he has walked 33 and struck out 98. A whip of 1.23 isn't alarming, but look closer. He lives in contact, and when command drifts, the damage stacks quickly. Last start, he gave up 6 runs in less than 3 innings. Reds fans see a veteran presence, but bettors see volatility. He has been hot recently, 4 wins in his last 7, but that is surface variance, not structural stability. Against an Angels lineup that can still flash crooked innings when the count tilts, his margin is narrow. Kikuchi next, 6 wins, 8 losses, ERA 3.52, but the true story is in his trend line. 7 of his last 8 outings have seen him yield 3 or more earned runs. His whip is 1.42, too many base runners in too many moments. The stuff is still there, 149 strikeouts, but the efficiency is slipping. And against a Reds team fighting for a wild card, it is not hard to imagine early traffic, long at-bats, and a bullpen asked to shoulder too much too soon. Game flow. Cincinnati hits better against right-handers than left, but even so, their recent OPS against southpaws has been weak. That tilts a shade of probability toward Los Angeles. Yet the Angels' own pen has carried a 4+ ERA over the last 10 days. This is not a unit you can trust to lock the door. Put those elements into one equation, and the outcome is less about which side stands taller, more about how high the runs stack before the 9th. And today's AI pick is over 8.5 total runs. Will we cash or will we burn? Rocco, carry the fire into Game 5.
Washington feels the weight of its record. 50 wins, 74 losses, a roster young but exposed. New York arrives needing victories to keep pace in the East. The line swings heavy toward the Mets, But behind the numbers, there is still a duel. Kodai Senga against Brad Lord. Two pitchers with different ceilings, two teams with different fates. Senga first. 19 starts, ERA 2.35, WHIP 1.23. 95 strikeouts in 99 innings tell the story. Strikeout stuff that bends bats into splinters. The walk rate, 48 free passes, is high, and his FIP suggests regression. But the arsenal is real. Splitter, fastball, command that flirts with chaos, but usually lands on the side of dominance. Even in a stretch where his ERA ballooned over 5 in recent outings, the underlying skill remains. Against a lineup like Washington's, which sits bottom tier in slugging and power, Senga has the leverage. Brad Lord for the Nationals. A young arm with poise, 3.26 ERA, WHIP 1.22 across 91 innings, 73 strikeouts against 29 walks. He generates ground balls over half the time, keeps the ball in the yard. His problem is less his own skill than the context around him. A staff ranked 29th in ERA, 29th in WHIP, 29th in batting average against. A defense that bleeds runs. Lord can pitch well and still leave with a deficit because the scaffolding collapses behind him. Game state. The Mets' bats are middle of the pack in average, but 10th in slugging, 9th in home runs. They score more, prevent more, and travel with a bullpen that stabilizes late innings. Washington hits .270 at home against divisional opponents, but over the arc of a season, that's a flicker, not a fire. Match skill against skill, bullpen against bullpen, lineup against lineup, and the Mets hold the stronger edge across the ledger. And today's AI pick is Mets moneyline, will we cash or will we burn? Lilith, gather the 5 and speak the recap.
Do you hear the pattern yet? 5 games, 5 wagers carved into the night, each one a signal, each one a fracture. You've walked with Abaddon, Krista, Sapphira, Anna, and Rocco. Now you stand with me. Let's set the board clean. Game 1, Yankees at Rays. We sided with the arms, not the headlines. Rasmussen against Schlittler. The sharper blade carried the edge. The pick, Rays, moneyline. Game 2, Brewers at Cubs, momentum against attrition. Misiorowski's strikeouts, Reyes' contact profile, and Milwaukee's machine offense. The pick, Brewers, moneyline. Game 3, Dodgers at Rockies. Coors Field tempts chaos, but Ohtani versus Gordon isn't balance, it's inevitability. The pick, Dodgers run line, 1.5. Game 4, Reds at Angels. Martinez volatile, Kikuchi fading, bullpens bleeding. Logic demanded runs. The pick, over 8.5 total. Game 5, Mets at Nationals. Senga's arsenal against Washington's hollow order. Skill against scaffolding. The pick, Mets moneyline. En español, para que no se pierda el hilo. Juego 1, Rays línea de dinero. Juego 2, Brewers línea de dinero. Juego 3, Dodgers 1.5 en la línea de carrera. Juego 4, más de 8.5 carreras totales. Juego 5, Mets línea de dinero. Like and subscribe. Will we cash or will we burn? Und der alte Satz flüstert im Dunkel. Wer nicht wagt, der nicht gewinnt. The old saying whispers in the dark. Nothing ventured, nothing gained.